this tour that we're on right now, on paper, is the best-selling tour as a headliner that we've ever had. So there's always firsts, and I think that so long as those firsts keep happening, I think those are what you'll then look back on in 5 years and be like, do you remember that?
I think it was when I first moved to LA, and it was the first LA show for the Maine that I went to. And I walk in and I just see Halsey just sitting right there. Very cool moment for me.
Very wild for us.
Have you guys ever thought about doing a collab with someone like her?
Oh, I mean, it wouldn't even be a thought. It'd just be like, if you wanted to do it, do it. Yeah. I mean, that would be, there's so many that we would be like floored if they, I mean, even the fact that like Adam TBS, like when that even happened, and even being friends with him, I was still like, are you serious? Like,
Taking Back
this
Sunday
is
in the
fucking
Maine?
crazy. So I don't know. I mean, I think those things have to kind of happen organically.
That song took off as soon as it came out.
It was so much fun. I can't tell you the joy that we felt, like being in the studio and hearing him on the song. We had him do a feature on a cover song, and that was for, I think, Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
The cover albums.
Yeah. And he was on that, and I felt the exact same way hearing his voice on our songs, because he was so much a part of me growing up. And like I remember going to see Taking Back Sunday at a venue that's not around anymore in Arizona. And I remember I might have been sorry, Adam, I might have been a sophomore in high school. Maybe freshman, but I remember seeing him walking outside of their van, and it was just like, oh my, and it was speechless, and just like, I was just stunned.
Is this Mike swinging Adam
Oh,
Lazzara?
1,000%, yeah. This was like amazing.
What is it like for you to hear your vocals and his vocals like simultaneously?
It's one of those like Wayne's World, like, we're not worthy, that kind of feeling. You get, I don't know, like, I think it's easy to forget that, like, at the core of everything, I'm a massive fan of music. Like, music is just part of my DNA, regardless of being in a band or regardless of releasing records. It's like, I remember saving up lunch money when I was in elementary school and not eating on purpose so that I could go to the record store and buy records. So it's like, that's where it all comes from, So when hearing somebody that you had so many memories, created because of their music, and you can attach so much to that, it's like hearing my voice next to his it's pretty surreal, like trying to wrap your head around it.
What albums are you excited to go purchase?
Back in the day?
Yeah, are you going to Best Buy FYE, or are you going to
I went to Tower Records.
in Arizona?
Yeah, which is no longer around. My very first, so like my dad, audiophile, like the kind of guy that loves the, like, if a song comes on, he'll name the artist, he'll name the song, he'll name the album, and then he'll be like, do you know them by name? Like, who played drums on this? Like, that level. So like that's where I got my passion for music. So like you can imagine, it's a very eclectic taste that he has. But then when you're in 4th grade, it's like so I walk into Tower Records, I have like $20 saved up. I'm like, I'm gonna buy 2 records. These are gonna be my records. Like, this is my taste. And so I bought the Good Burger soundtrack. Naturally. And
That was all ska heavy.
it was pretty ska.
It was like, wasn't Real Big Fish on there?
But you know what's funny is then there's a lot of George Clinton on there. So a lot of funk stuff too, which was really awesome for a fourth grader. Um, to be like, oh, there's this other style of music. I bought that record, and then I bought um, Presidents of the United States of America, who did like Peaches. Do you remember that song?
Yes.
Millions of peaches, peaches for free.
Did you buy it because of that song? Like you knew it was on there?
Yes. So that was like 96 or something like that.
Mine was Chumbawamba Tub Thumpin'.
Oh, hell yes.
That baby on the album
Yes.
just
My
had me.
kids love that song.
Really?
Yes, and it's due large in part to the cover.
Yeah.
Like the baby.
A purple baby.
Purple baby.
That and Eiffel 65 because of Blue I'm a
I'm
Diva
blue.
Dava Dee Dava
Yes,
Die.
yes. Bangers.
Heavily influenced by those albums.
Fuck yeah.
So we're just a couple weeks away of your new album.
Yes.
You've been a band coming up on 20 years now.
20 next year, yeah.
What album number is this?
10.
How do you feel?
The accurate answer would be old, but I don't feel it. Even though I sound it right now. But this is because we've got 2 shows under our belt. I feel just like an immense amount of gratitude, and just we are so fortunate to still be doing it. And I don't know, we've talked a lot about it, but it's like um it's not felt like it's tapering off. Like it feels like people are still excited, and I mean, it's like every record that we put out, we're always like, this is the best one we've done. And we always try to take that feeling and do whatever we can to try to permeate that through people. And that's why we go so hard on all the minutia, all the like details of the record, and creating, a world. So yeah, I think gratitude and just joy at this point.
How do you go about figuring out what you want the new era to be of the Maine? Because you guys are so good with branding and marketing and figuring out the color scheme and the album artwork, and even how all 5 of you have your own individual personalities, but you still look like the Maine, the band. You guys have your identity.
I mean, we talked a lot about, I think, I remember reading like an early interview with David Bowie about, it was something along the lines of like, how do you develop like a character like Ziggy Stardust, or like how do you create a world um like that, and is there a lot of intention behind it, or like what's the motivation? And I remember reading him saying like a lot of it is just made up along the way, right? Like you have this vague, blurry idea of what you want, right? And then you kind of release that first iteration, and then it continues to evolve. So I think people would be surprised to find that like a lot of what eventually happens and how the rollout is, it's kind of like a momentum thing, and just like an evolution of a small idea. Okay, let's do this, that, or the other. I mean, the car that was in the Die to Fall music video, that's now kind of, we're starting to kind of like have that be a staple. Um, that was like a Facebook buy from the guys. They were like, we saw this listing, it was like $1,800, and let's go get it painted. Okay, let's paint it green. The paint job costed more than the car itself, and it runs, and you should see the gas tank. Like the thing in the back is legitimately a jug with a nozzle in it.
And it runs.
Yes. So, I mean, all of these things are just, I think it's a testament to the idea that we're still so hands-on, and no matter what, if we were as big as the Rolling Stones, we would always be DIY. We would always be hands-on, and just because it's your livelihood, like no one will ever care more about your art than you do, you know. So I think that's kind of what it all centers around.
I like to think that I'm one of the most qualified people to discuss the Maine.
Yes.
I
was trying to think when was the first time we would have met?
First time we met was Stone Pony Forever Halloween cycle,
Okay.
made up this website where I could go interview artists. And you guys responded saying, let's do it.
Yes.
And at the time, I was only getting one person from the band, regardless of who it was. But when I got on to your guys' tour bus, I had all 5 of you.
Yes.
And I was very surprised, very confused what to do because I did not prepare for it. I thought I was just getting one person and I was like ready to go.
That's amazing.
So then Pat invited me to stay for the show. And the moment that got me hooked on your live show, you were playing the music. And then Pat goes, John's in the crowd. And I looked away for like a second. And you're in the middle of the crowd jumping with everybody. And I thought it was the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
It was one of it probably is the single most influential live moment I've ever seen of a performance.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because you just had that energy with the crowd and you brought it on stage, but then you brought it back to the crowd. And just as a frontman, the way that you control everybody, but make everybody feel like they're part of this thing with you is so rare for other.
That's awesome.
For
And I don't know,
anything.
forgive me if I spoke about this the last time we talked, but I can, I know the exact moment that I felt that same way. I was in 8th grade. I was going to my first like big arena show. It was Blink 182, Green Day, Jimmy Eat World.
Pop Disaster Tour?
I think so, but it was in where the Phoenix Suns play. So it was a big arena and it was like a really big deal for me. And the summer prior, I had gone to like a summer camp with my buddies and it was just a week away from your parents. And it was just like kids goofing off. And we had a camp, like a bunk counselor, right? His name was Dustin. And so fast forward a year later, I go to this concert, excuse me, and uh, Billy Joe from Green Day had always done like come up and play kind of thing. And sure as shit, Dustin, my camp counselor, goes on stage. He gets picked out of the crowd. And it blew my mind and it made me feel like I had no aspirations of being in a band. It just made me feel like I was connected to their music and to that moment because I knew the person and it was such a special thing that I just when we started, so then, 8th grade, then fast forward all the way to college, my first year at ASU, when we formed the band, I knew that I wanted that to be a staple. I wanted to emulate that in some form. So I don't know. I think to me, it's always like there's a physical distinction, right? Like there's the barricade and there's the crowd and then there's the artist. And I think for us, it's always important to remind everyone, even ourselves, that it's like we are just as much a part of the crowd as we are on stage. So yeah, whatever we can do to break down that physical and metaphorical barricade, I think is really important because it's about community, it's about music, it's about having fun. And I think for me, I want to share that.
One of my other favorite things is when you take the mic out for Another Night on Mars at
Yes.
the end of the show
Mm-hmm.
and you're just playing literally with the mic stand in the crowd. Is something like that really hard to get done?
Only when people are off time.
Like, like the band?
No, like when voices like that's what's hard. We have in-ears in now. So um like if people are clapping off time and you like take an ear out, you're like, oh fuck, I don't know what to do. No, again, I think it just it goes in theme with like just like camaraderie and being in the moment. And it's strange because it's like there are certain moments that like we'll have it like kind of in our heads like okay, this is a good song for something like that, but a lot of it is just like in the moment, especially like cities are different, crowds are different. Like people might just want to chill and not jump around and rage, and then you have something in Philadelphia that's like berserk that you want to just it's just very like a feed off each other kind of thing. So
Is that where you step in as frontman to figure out the crowd's mood for the night and how the band is going to lead to take
for
charge?
sure. And that's not it's all dependent on people's like willingness to accept it or like I've had plenty of shows where I'm like where it probably feels like I'm berating the audience, but I'm like,
Stand up.
yeah, but we've had those where it's like we've played seated rooms where I'm like,
Do those bum you guys out?
seats are tough, but it's also again like,
Is what it
um,
is.
if you, it's just hard. It's like we did a spot with the Jonas Brothers. They invited us out to play Black Butterflies, and an arena like that is half seated, and even in the pit, it's mostly seated. But those people are frothing. They're like so stoked to be there. So it could have been, I don't know, the Michelin Man out on a cart, and they would have been like, "Ah, fucking yes, I love your tires."
What do you think is the toughest part about being a front man?
Maybe dialing back some of the, if I get carried away, if I get too talky, I think balancing that with remembering that like you're trying to put on a solid performance as well. So I don't know. It's always a work in progress. I feel like I'll never feel like 100% about anything, but it's always just we're just lucky that we get to keep working out the kinks.
Now that we're 2 days into your new tour,
Yeah.
do you feel like you're a little rusty that you have to get back into it in the swing of things and read the room again? Like when you take time off from a tour?
Rusty from the standpoint of this being a new set list, right? So getting familiar with the song sequence, and we're changing out songs every night too. So
Just to figure out what's the best for the
not even that, just to like, I mean, we have so many freaking songs. So it's like
10
just to,
albums,
yeah,
10 each.
yeah.
You have at least 120.
We have a lot of songs. So to balance that, and we have people going to multiple shows and keep it fresh for us. We got like last year was a lot of, we said, oh, we're not going to really do many shows. We're going to focus on the album, which was true. But then we ended up playing probably like 15, 16 shows. And for those, it was a lot of like half-hour sets, 40-minute sets. So the song choice was kind of easy. You just went into it like, let's just try to play the songs we think would resonate the most. And this one's a little different because it's like it's definitely a lot of things to appease maybe somebody that's never seen us, right? And wants to hear, oh, here's your top 10 on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. And then balancing that with the, like last night, I talked to a girl, it was her 150th show.
I
So
got chills.
balancing that with the person that's been there 150 times. So,
The new person with the 150 person.
yeah.
What's the most amount of Maine shows somebody's ever gone to that
I
you've
think
heard?
I think the I don't know the exact amount anymore. Um, it's somewhere between 150 and maybe even above 200. I don't know. I'm not sure.
How does it make you feel as an artist to know somebody spent that much time to come see you?
I think obviously outside of like um fulfilled and like that those feelings of gratitude, I think to me it just at least is like one of the north stars that we can still point to, that is telling us that we're still on a path that is what we deem the right one. um yeah, I don't think outside of that my brain will really be able to comprehend what it means or what it meant until it's gone, unfortunately, just because it's all very fleeting, and it goes by so fast that you don't really have time to like process it and comprehend just how special it is. So
I think the Maine's always been so good at being a band, and very rarely, off the top of my head, I feel like I can't really remember John ever just doing like John's thing. But you guys are so good at keeping the Maine together. Is that just the way that it is that you guys want to come off as? Like how do you keep it so tight knit that you guys are a band and it's the five of you and it's always been that way, which is so insane to say over the past 20 years.
I mean, I think a lot of it boils down to like still having a collective unified vision of what we want as far as the future is concerned. Um, dynamic has changed so much because of technology and like even for rehearsal, um, we did a lot of prep work when we weren't even standing up and playing, with the luxury of having like, for the lights, you have to like have the amount of the song for the lights specifically for them to program. Um, so it's interesting because you have to do so much work prior to even standing up and playing. Whereas before it was like, all right, we're gonna go in, we're gonna craft the set list, we'll do a longer intro here, we'll do X, Y, or Z, and we were all working it out in the room together. Um, but I think I remember having conversations even from the beginning of our band. It was always about longevity. It was like the artists that we always admired were the bands and the artists that withstood the ebbs and flows of being an artist, right? There's always highs and there's always lows. And sometimes there's 1,000 people in Dallas, and sometimes there are 400 people in Dallas. But it was always the artists like Wilco, Tom Petty, Neil Young. Neil Young specifically in his book talks about I would go from club to theater to amphitheater back down to theater. And it was just this battle of like, I just want to play and I hope people show up and I'm going to keep doing what I think is the right thing. And for us, I think we still like each other. We still like being around one another. And yeah, it's just that thought that like we never thought it would go 20 years. Like, who's to say it can't go longer? And I think as long as we have that in our guts, I think we're at least we'll try to be a band for as long as we can.
Did you write music that you thought would always be able to be continued to listen to further on
Not ever
intentionally?
intentionally. Um, I think what we've always done is just written whatever felt like it was we wanted to say or sound like at the time. So hopefully part of the reason for 20 years is authenticity and maybe that can come across and um I'd like to think it's a mixture of that and being genuine people and then yeah, hopefully good songs.
What era of the Maine was really fun for you?
They've all been really fun. I think the first experience of coming out here on the first record, those the early struggles always stand out because they were firsts. But then you fast forward and it's like we went on tour with Fall Out Boy just 2 years ago. It's like I never thought that would happen. Um, this tour that we're on right now, on paper, is the best-selling tour as a headliner that we've ever had. So there's always firsts, and I think that so long as those firsts keep happening, I think those are what you'll then look back on in 5 years and be like, "Do you remember that?" And so there's a lot of nostalgia for the early stuff, but then every record, because there's such snapshots in your lives at the moment, they're all they're all they all hold like a fondness and like I just remember great times from each one and I remember the shitty times too. Um and I think it's all yeah, it's one of those like you'll never know what you have until it's gone kind of things, or until, you never know how good you have it until you don't have it. So, yeah, it's there I could probably think back and think specifically about, the greatest blips in time for us, but collectively I just think that it's all been not roses, but it's all been such a fucking blast.
Do you think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you guys are in control of your destiny?
Having that be the case, it's a lot easier to get past the hardships, right? Like it's a lot easier to stomach the the negative times, or like the things that might not connect, or the moment you played in uh, Chicago and there was not as much energy as the time. You know what I mean? Like I think those are easier to swallow because a lot of the decisions that are made with like um still that like feverish green energy, like the oh, what's going to happen if we do this, So I think yeah, I mean it's not formulaic, like if it were, we would have tried to figure out how to do our biggest headliner a lot earlier, you know. So you can't one to one anything, but I think yeah, it's easier to look in the mirror when you know that you dressed yourself in the morning. And like if people hate your outfit, well, it's all good cuz
Right.
I chose it.
The Maine left their major record label to do everything independent. You guys control everything.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want to do. Was there a moment that made you want to leave a major record label in the backing and that machine behind you so that you guys can make all the decisions?
I think it was just the reality of the situation. I think we realized really quickly that um the team that was in place at the major was already starting to be disbanded
This is on album 2.
on album 2. And so faces that drew us in from the beginning were starting to be let go. There was like a turnover of all these employees, and I think that's when we were like, "Oh shit, if they're doing with this with the internals, like they're just going to do this with us if we don't live up to their high expectations."
You realized that your guys' selves?
Yeah, and I think we realized that we were gonna have little say in the process along the way. Like, and it sounds silly, but it's like we like being able to like dress ourselves. We like being able to do a music video that we want a certain way. We like being able to have outlandish ideas that we have on a Tuesday that we want to announce on a Wednesday. And the big machine is very it's just too big to move quickly. So
Which in today's world you really
you
need.
have to. Yeah. So I think we realized that we weren't going to live up to expectations, and that was okay. But then we just had to kick and scream a little bit to get out of that situation. And we were willing to not be a band anymore because of it. And so
Because you felt like it was going to happen inevitably.
I mean, we just felt like if it wasn't gonna be our say, then w why would it be okay to put your name on it, you know? And I think we thought that every decision was gonna be a fight, and we didn't wanna to fight for our art. Like, this is just what we wanna do, and if you're not on board, then we're out, so,
And that was the black and white album.
yeah.
So then when you do Pioneer,
Mhm.
that's entirely on your own
We recorded it all on our own, and we were still on Warner Brothers, and
for distribution.
well, no. So we recorded it and we spent a month and a half or 2 months in Texas, in Tornillo, Texas. And we had the record done, and our A&R at the time, Craig Aronson, um, we delivered it to him on the table. We said, "This is our record. We want to put this out." And I don't remember if Craig had pivoted and gone to a different company. But as I remember it, I remember playing it for Craig. All that to say, Craig was such a unique personality, and he was such a breath of fresh air within that realm of of people that you didn't think cared. He was so genuine, and he's no longer with us, but he was such a motivator and such a spark of energy. And he was the reason that like My Chem got signed to Warner. He was the reason that Jimmy Eat World got signed, Taking Back Sunday. So his like, his reputation was like heavy. And I remember laying it down on his desk, and um there had been a turnover of his boss at the time. And I remember his boss was like, well, we don't make records like that. Like we don't, it wasn't like the sound was wrong. It was like the process that we got to the sound was wrong. It wasn't like co-writes. It wasn't big hotshot, huge name
Producer.
producer, $250,000 budget, yada yada. So when we heard that, I mean, and Craig was like our number one champion still at the time. But when we heard that, it was like, all right, this is how we want to make records. This is the record we wanted to make. If you're not on board, then why keep us around? And there was a little bit of a struggle, which is beyond me now,
Like why it even happened.
as to why they still wanted us around, even though they didn't want the record that we had made. So, yeah, I think it was like it was a good learning experience, and I'm fortunate that we did it because it was it made us. I hate that, like it made us stronger, but it hardened us a little bit, and it made us realize that it's like okay to say fuck off, you know.
How do you guys determine who is on the side for the band versus who's just trying to take advantage?
The only reason that we've done a deal recently with Photo Finish Records is because Mike Marquis, who owns it with Matt Galley, they've been in our booking agent hemisphere since I think 2007. So the fact that they know where we come from, how much we care, maybe how hard headed we are sometimes, that was like the only way that we would entertain working with someone. So it's been awesome. And they've been, hands on when it's like we're out of our depth and where they can help facilitate. And then hands off when it's like, we shot 4 or 5 music videos at home and they didn't even see them. And they were just like, oh, yeah, they look great. Okay, cool. Let's put them out. So it's been I think that's the only scenario where we would have seen ourselves working with a label because it doesn't feel like it. And they know how precious this whole thing is to us.
Were you on the Bamboozle Roadshow?
Never the roadshow,
Just the Bamboozle.
just the bamboozles. Yeah.
What was your favorite tour in those early years?
I mean, you bring up bamboozle. We played bamboozle. I think it was the Jersey one. I can't remember. I know they had the Anaheim and then they had Jersey. Whatever it was the biggest fucking crowd we'd ever played to, and it was the worst show of our lives. Like hands down, everything that could go wrong went wrong. I dropped my mic in between the stage and the sub speakers. I couldn't figure out how to fish it out for like a solid half a song. It was just fucking nightmarish. But good tours. Soundtrack of your summer tour.
Was that Boys Like Girls?
Boys Like Girls, Good Charlotte, Metro Station, and us opening. That was the first holy cow tour that we were ever on.
I remember that being a massive tour.
Massive. You had the convergence of Shake It from Metro Station, #1 song on the radio, the massive catalog of Good Charlotte, just like hit after hit after hit. And then Boys Like Girls at the time, who was like going wild as well. So all of it, and then us, where we're like, hey, we're on myspace.com. It was like, we were just so happy to be there. And I just remember just being in awe of the whole thing. And like we were in silly matching outfits and like carrying our gear and like.
Is this Glamour Kills era?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. And it was just like very eye-opening. We met a lot of people on that tour that I think forged the path of like, this is how you tour and be great people and treat people the right way. And we owe a lot to Good Charlotte and Gary Ferenchek and Top Down, their crew, their band. just like so welcoming and so genuine that it was like, oh, you can be as big as Good Charlotte and be great people. And that was like that tour. I mean, we've had so many great tours and you meet so many great people along the way. But that one stands out as like one of the first, oh my gosh, moments for sure.
The Maine's going on tour with Good Charlotte.
I mean, I haven't seen Pat cry a lot. There have been a few times when I've seen Pat cry. He cried when we got that tour. He cried when we got the Dashboard Rejects tour. There'd been like a few moments. I didn't see him cry when obviously I wasn't in the hospital when his wife had their children, but I wonder how many tears comparatively were shed. So yeah, there have been moments. And that's what I'm saying is like moments along the way. You just keep as long as you can keep having those and feeling those feelings, I think that's what keeps us going.
Are you guys on this first tour, this big massive tour, are you partying or are you
Hell no.
Oh, you're not.
Partying meaning I just went to Burbank Sports Cards right before this and
What'd you get?
I bought baseball cards.
What'd you get?
I bought a box of Stadium Club.
Did you pull them yet?
I opened one pack.
Should we do more?
I don't even know if I have. We could do one.
Yeah.
That's the kind of partying that we're doing now.
You were doing that even back then?
No. This is like 37-year-old partying where I'm like geeking out over baseball cards.
Are you only baseball or do you do like Pokemon and
I collected baseball cards, basketball cards when I was younger.
Wait, if you don't want to pull this, you don't have to.
Well, now I feel like we have to.
Maybe who makes this?
Tops.
Oh. I mean, they're going to see this and they're going to send us more and we're going to have a whole YouTube channel of unboxing cards.
Do you have a knife or anything?
I do, actually.
Found my old baseball cards that my brothers and I collected. And like, I don't have any hobbies anymore because I'm 37 with 2 kids and I've got 0 time. So I started getting really excited about the baseball cards. I started organizing them and I started like, it's a whole, I mean, I see the Funko Pops that you have. It's a whole universe. Like sports cards is a massive universe that I was not prepared to like explore. And so my algorithm is literally just like people ripping packs. And I saw that Burbank Sports Cards was like one of the biggest sports cards shops in the US. And so we just right before this went in. I'm like, yo, can we swing it? Like I have maybe 30 minutes, if that. Walk in, and right off the rip, this kid walks up to me. His name's Paolo. He's from the Philippines, just moved out here, and he's got a freaking "You Are Okay" tattoo.
Wow.
And I'm like, let's go. So I took a picture with him and shout out Paolo. But he helped me, him and his buddy Christian, shout out Christian. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like it's so nostalgic for me. And yeah, so my wife's gonna hate me because I don't want to tell her how much I paid for the box. But we'll rip a pack right now. And if we can pay the mortgage, then you're welcome.
I'm really excited for this because I have a good feeling.
Let's see what we get.
This is a Topps Stadium Club.
Stadium Club specifically because I have cards from the 90s that were Stadium Club and something, again, this is going to make me sound so fucking nerdy. Like being a kid, Stadium Club always had like amazing photography.
Oh, that's what you look for?
So it's just like the shots are just so clean.
I used to collect as a kid too, but looking back now, it was so stupid. But I thought dirt cards were the coolest thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
But it was just dirt from the field.
Yeah,
It had no connection to the player at all.
So there's a Pete Alonso, the polar bear, no longer a Met. Chandler Simpson, Spencer Schwellenbach, Stephen Kwan. And actually, this is fitting because today's opening day. Well, last night was, but for my D-backs, they play. Are you Dodgers fan?
Dodgers, yeah.
They play the Dodgers at 5:30
today.
Today,
yeah.
So I'm now broke because of that.
Would you get it graded?
I've actually sent cards in to get graded. I sent we had a bunch of holographic Pokemon.
What'd you have?
I had a 99 base set Charizard that I'm gonna have to crack out of its slab because it came back a 5. It was the first set of cards that I submitted, and I didn't realize that the grading company wasn't going to clean them for me. So I sent it in unknowingly, and it came back a 5. I'm like, fuck! I can see my thumbprint on there and shit. So yeah, it's been fun, and it's been like I don't know. It's so nostalgic for me.
I love it. I used
Yeah.
to collect Pokemon, baseball. I dabbled in basketball and
Okay.
dabbled football.
Yeah.
When you pull something and you see the thickness of a
For
card.
sure.
I used to go to Target and you would be able to feel
The big packs. Yeah.
where the big packs and where the indent of a
Yep.
jersey card was.
Yep. I know like the big thing in the ether is like if you want to make money, buy singles, don't buy packs. But I'm just like I'm not in it for making money.
Oh, they want you to buy the actual card?
Yeah, I mean like there's a whole I can't tell you how many hours I've sat on Whatnot and just been like it's deep, dude. It's deep.
But you have a hobby, and that's
I
what's
have a hobby.
important.
Now I just need friends that are
That-
into it too.
that no one else does it?
I have a couple friends back home, but nobody that I just need to find people that want to go to card shows with me that want to nerd out. We'll see.
Eric from I Prevail does Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
You do baseball. I'm thinking there's gonna be a Warp Tour.
There's a crossover.
It's gonna happen in
Yeah,
some way.
for sure. I just need to wear like a shirt that says I collect baseball cards.
New line for the merch.
Yeah.
What was your best pull?
It probably was either this Sunny Gray.
Oh no, I mean like ever.
Oh, ever.
Like in this,
right here.
in this new collection era.
I don't even know. I pulled a. It's probably not. It's definitely not worth very much. But I got it graded. Paul Skeens is a legend.
Yeah.
He got roughed up today, but I pulled like a silver sparkle Skeens.
Is that an autograph?
No, it's like a fancy, shiny one. And it was his second year card. I got it graded. Came back a 9. Again, I need to probably
Start
figure out how to which ones to submit. I don't know. For me, it's not been like honestly, probably the most valuable shit is the Pokemon from when I was a kid. But it's not about that for me. It's more about just like a hobby.
We need something to do these days.
Right? Like something tangible too.
Something that you could touch.
Yeah,
like,
that you can
go
touch.
go
that's
to a
like-
community.
Exactly.
Like the baseball card store must have been so much fun.
Our booking agent last night was talking about. Have you heard of this third space?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's like a place outside of your home and outside of your work that you can physically go to.
Oh.
That is like there's people, a like-minded kind of group that is there for basketball playing, like a court or something. So I need to find my third space.
I think that's Malibu for me. I just like going there.
There you go. That's your third space.
Yeah. We got to find your third space.
I gotta find mine. It's probably in a card shop, but I just need like a couple friends.
They'll be there. We'll
Yeah,
find them.
They'll be there.
Well, you
for
have,
sure.
who is it? Pablo? Who is it?
Paolo? Yeah,
Paolo.
yeah,
Yeah, he's there.
that's my homie.
You see people that have your tattoos
Yeah.
of your albums. Are there any fan interactions that really changed the way that you perceive the Maine?
Obviously, the tattoos are such a special thing. I have lyrics of tattoos on my body. I have seen people come to Maine shows for almost 2 decades, and I think that the moments and the interactions that I have that hit the hardest now are after having kids. It's those moments where like we're expecting our first kid, or they have their first kid and they're 16 months and we made this shirt for them, and it's like that. Now it's like a generational thing, and I think those interactions kind of hit my heart like in the best way possible now after having kids and like desperately trying to indoctrinate them with the music that I love.
Is it working?
No, not even close.
What are they into?
I'm kind of like getting them slowly but surely into some of the stuff that I love, and it's only by way of like word association that I can get them there. So like for example, we went from like what does the fox say on like heavy repeat,
Great
right?
banger.
Into the pivot for me was, oh, here's Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix. And so I like give him a little bit of the rock and roll, but it says Fox, you know? So my son is definitely way more in touch with the like he like just it's very spiritual to him, like the way music moves him. My daughter's very cerebral. She wants to know all the words, and she spent the last 2 weeks at home, um not really around me. My wife was saying that she was like prepping for the show. So she was trying to like memorize all of our lyrics.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's been a process to try to get them like on board with some of the stuff. And I know that it's going to be like inevitably they'll be like, "Dad, your taste in music sucks. Like I'm off on my own thing." So I'm holding out for that. I want to like give them the things that I think are good first.
Speaking of lyrics, I thought it'd be fun to play Guess the Lyric.
Okay.
You have 10 albums, 20 years as a band, hundreds of songs.
Okay.
Let's see if you can figure out the song.
Fuck. All right.
I'm desperate for a different point of view.
How to exit a room.
That was an easy one.
Easy.
Breakdown, hysteric.
Slip the noose.
Oh, okay. We're going to get a little harder as time goes on. You put the gun in my hand.
Run.
Wow. She's fresh to death.
The way we talk.
Just shut up. That's when she said it.
Diet soda.
Is it because you sing these songs so often?
It is. There. If you have some like deeper ones, there might be, because even on this last rehearsal, there were a few songs that I had to look up lyrics for on Google. And every time I do that, inevitably there's like a few words in there that I have to remember that they're wrong on Google, like in the lyrics. So it's hard to keep up with, and it's hard to store it all.
I want to love you.
Akon.
You're 21. I see your eyes.
Inside of you.
Want to play you over and over again.
Sticky.
Her face went red as the words left his tongue.
English Girls.
Bang. She made her way to the bar.
Into Your Arms. I was going to say Right Girl, but it's Into Your Arms.
Yeah, I almost kind of sang it like Right Girl vibey.
I liked it though, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite album artwork that you guys did?
That's a good question.
Whether it was the process of it, the decision making on it, the fans just fell in love with the new era.
I don't know if I can like determine a favorite. The fun ones were always like the ones that we were involved in, as far as like on Forever Halloween, we all like painted our bodies. That's the one my kids are most scared of, but also like simultaneously really intrigued by. They want to see it, but they don't want to see it, kind of thing.
Who's swimming in the pool? That's Pat.
That is, yeah. So again, with the idea of like you have this vision and then it changes. My initial thought for Lovely Little Lonely was me at the bottom of a pool and getting a photo of that. And that evolved day of and changed rapidly because it was like, oh, I don't have the housing for my camera and all this stuff. So those are like the happy Bob Ross accidents that happen along the way. I loved this new one because, I mean, what's been special with the majority of them is they're done by great friends of ours. So Lupe Bustos did the most recent one. Dirk Mai had shot, I want to say, Pioneer. I can't remember if Dirk shot Black and White, but definitely Pioneer, Forever Halloween, American Candy, Lovely Little Lonely, You Are Okay. And then Lupe did the most recent. Rich Ron did EXO. So it's like I know these guys. I've grown up with these guys. These are like some of my best friends. And having that be the case is like That's the best because we love their work outside of what they've done with us. And so to be able to collaborate like that is always more fulfilling than just like send it out and get something back.
Joy Next Door is the Maine's new album coming out.
Yeah.
How do you figure out the songwriting style that you want to approach it for?
This one was interesting because I thought I wanted it to sound a certain way. And then I did a trip out to Nashville to write songs.
Are you with producers?
I was with writers, and the majority of the writers that I worked with were brand new faces. Like I'd never met them before. But I just, because of works they've been a part of, I was like, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z, I'll do that.
And is that the direction that you think you want the Maine to go?
No, it was really just about, I didn't really care if we got a song. Like for me as a songwriter, it was just so important, and it is still so important to work with as many people as possible just to see how they approach it, get new perspectives and, you know, take a trick here and take a trick here. But if you write a song that you're in love with, that's just a bonus. For me, it was like going out to Nashville. I kind of have this thought, this idea of what I think it wants to be. And then I wrote a song on the album called It's Not Over Yet that shifted. I kind of scrapped everything I had, and that was square one. And that's what I wanted to build the sound off of. So, um, shout out to Jeremy Lutito. I hope I'm saying that right, Jeremy. And that's what's interesting is I'd only met Jeremy the one day. We talked for a couple hours. We wrote a song. I haven't seen him since. Other than like texting back and forth, I like sent him the rough, and then I sent him the updated version after it was done. And I think that's what's so special about songwriting and collaboration is that we like, for me, I don't know how he feels about it. I know he's proud of it, but like for me, I don't think he knows like how important that day was and that moment was and how integral it was in shaping the whole sound of the record. So from that moment on, it was like, we want to do, I want to do this. And it took, it takes like, not massaging, but just like to get everybody to shift from what they had heard that I had sent to, okay, we're pivoting. Can we get on board with this kind of thing? Um, and they did. And I'm so glad because I'm extremely proud of the way it turned out. And I'm really, really excited for people to hear it.
Do you guys self-produce it?
So Sean Silverman, who he played in a band called This Century from Arizona, plays in Beach Weather, the Technicolors, but we have known Sean for 20 years. And like he is such and I worked on a song for my other project, John the Ghost, that he helped produce, and I got to write with him and like be in the studio and create with him in that capacity, and I had never done that before. Um, so having somebody that one you trust and again knows how important it is to us, but then on top of that, somebody that you respect tremendously as a musician, and you know you trust their taste and you speak a language in when it comes to music as like similar loves, similar records, similar that kind of vibe. To have him a part of it, it didn't really feel uh like an overbearing producer so much as just like a sixth member of the band. So it was really, really awesome to be able to work with him.
Is it challenging for you as a lyricist to where the direction of the song is going to go so that you don't double dip into past songs that you've written, but you're living in the moment that you're in now?
Yeah, I think that for this one, I wrote every song from a different perspective than I had previously. Like I've had introspective songs before, but this one I wanted the whole record to have and breathe just kind of like a story, not a storyline, but like a an arc to like movie or like a film, which are the same thing, movie and film. Um, but I've never done it where I wanted to write it in sort of sequential order as far as like, all right, this happens first, this happens next. Okay, in this story of whatever I'm trying to say, what happens, so on and so forth. So it was hard from the perspective of um, like writing with intention instead of. So basically, how it goes is like I'll have just like blah blah lyrics. I have no. It's just sounds. It's just melodies.
Like,
That's where my brain works. Yeah, very. There aren't very many instances where it's like I have this song and it's called this and here are the lyrics and the song is done. It's always like here's melodies that I feel really strongly about
and then you figure out the
and then I
words.
figure them out later. And it I think it helped and also maybe prohibited like some really quick paced work in that I had this outline of a story. It was like arrival, opening credits. Um, it was like rebellion, escape. Like I had like bullet points for each song. So that helped, but also it made it harder because there were words within the songs, within the demos that were already there that sounded natural. They sounded like that's how they should be, whatever it was. If it was potato, then it was like I can't get my brain to not think potato here.
Was it really
Difficult.
potato in there?
No, no, no.
Oh,
But like phonetically, or I don't know.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was difficult and also a help that I had the blueprint set in front of me. Um, but I wanted to write from just my point of view and not from the point of view of this character outside of myself, me interpreting some interaction or some relationship in any other way. So any of the things about love, it's all internal. It's all about me. And I know that sounds selfish, but I wanted to write from that perspective to change it up, like you're saying, to not double back on things I've talked about in the past.
Do you ever feel like you have to hold back? Like you don't want to be too honest?
No, especially with this, it was just like, I don't see a therapist, so like music is a form of therapy for me, and lyricism is kind of that for me. So I think it was important to say what was on my mind and, in my head at the moment, maybe to try to like find clarity or, even catharsis just by getting it out. Um there's definitely like a fine line. Like I don't it's mostly just like what do I want to talk about? It's not what do I think people want to hear. And I think that was the case with everything. Every aspect of this record was just like what record do we want to make? And I was very outspoken about like let's write a record that we would want to listen to. Like that sounds like age 37 and not age 22 because we're not there anymore. And I think it aligns with that desire to be as genuine and as authentic as possible.
Like, what are the stages of a song for the main? Where does it start? What is the next chapter? Where does it go? When is it finished?
It's interesting because it used to start um, as just a bunch of voice memos, like just
To yourself?
to myself. And then as I got more savvy with Pro Tools, which is like recording software, I started to kind of like, in my mind, elevate these demos. So adding, what I thought Pat should play and adding what I thought Jared and Ken and Garrett should play. So I think that's definitely made it more difficult to imagine it any other way, right? Like the iteration that I generally bring to the guys is like at least in the same room or house as what will be the finished product. Um, but it's always changing. And like we were talking about it a couple of days ago, it's like it's really important that I have them to help me get out of my own way. Because if it were up to me, I probably wouldn't release stuff at the pace that we've released stuff. I'd just be toiling and thinking about it too much, and it's not perfect yet. It's not quite there yet. And I think having them just put their foot down and speak their minds and have opinions about ideas is really important, because that's when we can then collaborate and make it what we collectively want, not just what I say.
Do you guys set deadlines for yourselves?
We didn't on this fucking record, and that's why it drove us absolutely crazy.
Because I think last time we talked, you said this was the first time you're breaking apart from the 2-year cycle.
Yes, and that's what was the cause of all my madness in my head. I think I needed that.
You need a 2-year cycle.
I need a deadline. And it was tough because it kept getting pushed back.
Because you wanted more time?
Because we just felt like it'll be ready when it feels ready. And I think there is some level of like, that's why we're still around, is because the rate at which we've released music. One, I love being in the studio. It's like my favorite fucking thing in the world. And I love writing songs, and I love going from nothing to something. And I think that with the previous albums, having like, okay, we know we have to do this on this date, so we need the record to be done and mixed and mastered by this date.
Oh, we have a tour booked.
You
we have
have
to get
a finish line. You have that target that you need to hit. So I think having that, it just helps. I think there's always a reason to not get it done if you don't have a deadline, for me. But I'm just happy. And Ken had just spoke about it, but he was saying like, we just played a song called Palms for the first time in Vegas on the first day of the tour. And it was like, all right, the record's done. It's finally out. We're playing the songs now. Now you can put it to bed, and that portion. And when I finally signed off on the last song, the mix, there was an immense weight that was lifted off my shoulders, just because it'd been kind of, I'd felt the heaviness of the whole project the whole time.
So now that the album's done, are you almost on autopilot mode of
Yes,
enjoy
and
life?
what's different is like, because you can bring a studio on the road, what's different is I don't feel like I have that, like, I need to start writing music right now again, which is really nice to feel.
What do you mean?
There was always this, okay, it's done, and now my brain would just be like, all right, time to work, go back to work.
Start writing
Start
the new
going
album?
again. Or just start writing again.
Oh.
And start collecting thoughts and ideas, and
That quickly?
yeah. It's exhausting.
John the 5th.
I know. So I'm like, for the first time, I'm excited to like just enjoy tour and just enjoy the shows, enjoy time spent with friends, and just like be there instead of being in like work mode.
Is that almost where the baseball card collecting hobby comes in, that now you have something else to divvy up your time?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited just for the experience of tour, of being able to go get a coffee and figure out what's for dinner, and try to fit in some of the touristy sightseeing shit. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is a bonus. This is a plus. The downside is it costs so much money.
Your wife must love it. But this is the investment. This is the college fund.
Yeah. Well,
let's see where you fall. What you live such a unique life where you're on the road. You've toured. What was the most amount of days you've toured in a year?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know we've been over
250.
I think we've been definitely over 200, but I don't think, maybe not as grueling as 250 before. But it's been over 200 for
sure.
Do
those wear you out?
As I get older, for sure. Like, and that's why there's like, when you're young, like, you're resilient, like your body doesn't ache. Like, I have a fucking memory foam topper on my mattress.
I mean, you're a
And
tall guy too.
I have a diffuser in my bunk now
For breathing?
for breathing. Like you wouldn't like
You guys have sleep apnea
at
masks?
24, I would be like, my diffuser was how many beers can I drink and then feel shitty the next day? And it was like, if I drink 14 tonight, if I drink 15, I'm gonna feel bad tomorrow. Let's just keep it at 13 to 14 tonight. And then you wake up, you feel like $1,000,000 still, and you're like, let's do it over again. So it's definitely changed.
The Maine starts every show with "We like to party."
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Honestly, I remember the moment that we were like, in kind of jest, we were like, we need a pre-show thing.
This is your ritual.
So we played South by Southwest, I want to say in like 2008, maybe. There was a band called The Matches that was going on at the venue that we were kind of just around. I think we were loading in. And right before they went on stage, it was like, oh shit, if one of my guys was here, they would know what they were saying. But they were doing like some like in unison kind of like what, I don't know what. Fuck, it's gonna kill me that I don't remember. Anyways, that we saw that and we were like, we should have like being funny. And then of course, I think it was probably my dumbass that was like, you know, that Six Flags commercial, like we should, you know, the
We
Venga
like
Boys
to party.
song, yeah, that should be it. And then
It's just stuff.
lo and behold, it stuck. Yeah, and it genuinely is like it's like second nature at this point.
I mean, I've seen it.
I'm not gonna compare it to like LeBron and his chalk, you know,
I will.
but I will.
You guys are like zombies all coming together in
Yeah.
a circle. And it's like Pat starts the
But it
drums.
is that thing. It's like it's just that indicator that it's like time to lock in and we're gonna play.
Is that the moment you lock into frontman mode?
I don't know if I'm ever in like front man mode.
But like ready to sing, ready to perform, run around on stage.
Yeah, I would say that's like the good like click in the brain that it's like starting. But I'd like to think that it's more loose than that, you know? Like I'd like to think that it's like it's not a thought about thing. I think it's at least that's what I try to tell myself is it's like there's a difference between like warming up my voice and then it's not like I'm backstage like looking into the mirror being like I'm rehearsing my like banter, you know. I try to keep it as loose as possible.
You
And
guys
maybe
having
to my
fun?
detriment. Yeah, like so, I don't know.
You've been in a band for 20 years. What was the worst thing that's happened on the road? Someone broke into the bus, stole all your equipment, bus caught on fire.
Close. We on the soundtrack of your summer tour.
With Boys Like Girls in Good Charlotte.
Yeah. Just by sheer numbers of people that went to those shows, it was for us as like a baby band, we were trying to grind to get as many people familiar with our music. And we just like people were starting to like get into it. And like I remember being on the tour and that was a huge look for us at the time. Anyways, for us at the time, we were like starting to make okay money on merch sales, like selling t-shirts. And with that money, we ended up putting it into a safe every night that we would put in our van. And
Oh, you're in a 15-passenger van.
15-passenger van. And this is honestly really no one's fault because I would never want one of my best friends to ever feel like it was his fault because it wasn't. It was us being fucking 20 years old and ridiculously naive. But we had forgot to go to a bank to deposit the money. So we don't know the exact figure amount, but it was enough to have missed a deposit and the whole thing was filled with cash. And we were staying at a hotel in Chicago and I was out all night and I had them put the latch on the door because I didn't have a key. So it might have been my fault, partly. But there were 5 people in the room, I think. I think we only got one room at the time, so it might have actually been 10 of us fucking sleeping in this room. Anyways, some time between me staying out all night and I want to say like 8:30 a.m. in the morning, our safe that was in the room was stolen from the room, and we lost all of our money from merch.
Do
So like literally all of the money that was going towards gas and food and the shit pay that I'm sure we were paying our crew at the time was all.
do you
That
have it?
was like the I remember telling our parents, and our parents, that was like the I'm disappointed in you moment, where it was like, well, good learning lesson, expensive but good.
Do you have any idea of how much possibly?
It was definitely over 50 grand. Yeah, it was a tough lesson for sure.
Did you ever have a made it moment where you felt you're on the right path? We've done it. We're doing it. We need to keep doing this. We have momentum.
I'm always fearful of like the we're here, we've arrived, having those feelings, because I feel like once you say that, then like where's the drive come from? Where's the like where's the yearning for more come from? Not in like a I need more, like why can't we have, it's more like a look at how amazing this thing is. Don't you want that to keep happening? I would say that the fests that we've had in Arizona, the 8123 fest that we've had, those have been some of the most special moments. And maybe because it's a culmination of like people traveling from all over, even all over the world, people from Brazil, England, all over, coming to our hometown. But then combine that with um, seeing all your friends and all your families. And I think seeing, my parents' faces, where it's like never once, they've always been the most supportive. They've always been like, but it was, I would be also naive to think that there weren't doubts in their mind when we first started, right? Like my kid's not going to go back to college. So to have those moments where it's not like I'm trying to prove to them that, I'm a grown man now with a family, and they're like the most proud that they've ever been, and they always have been. But it's more like, again, that internal, like, this is kind of like, this is special, like we put this together, and these people out here help build this with us. And I think those are like the maybe as close to like the we've made it moments that I'll allow myself to have.
Would you ever do a 8123 Fest tour? Has that ever come up?
We did the 8123 tour back in the day with Brighton and um,
Was that
This Century and A Rocket to the Moon.
Rocket was on it? Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about trying to do something like that. What's hard is like, This Century's not around anymore. Rocket's not around anymore. Um, so it would be harder just by sheer like roster size. So, but like, I think people are aware of like who's been in the orbit and whose orbit we've been a part of, and so I would love to do something like that for sure.
Because did you guys start Sad Summer Fest?
I mean, I think we were part of it, as far as it obviously took everybody agreeing to do it to make it happen. Um, so that first year really came out of like, we want to do a tour with 3 headliners on it, like a triple. There's always the co-headliner, but we wanted to do like, how can we get into bigger rooms, excuse me, and play for more people with 3 quote unquote headliners,
It was you, Mayday.
state champs.
Right.
And so that was like, that was our pitch to them. And then it was a lot of like, talking through things and hearing people out, and a lot of collaboration on that side of things. But like to get people to wrap their heads around like, okay, it's not just like a triple co-headliner. It's like, it's a festival. It's called the Sad Summer Festival. It's like a lot of it again is just kind of like making it up along the way. So yeah, a lot of it comes out in necessity. Like the tour or the festival at home is like up until I don't know 5 years ago. It's not like we were getting a ton of like festival looks from like the major staples, and so that was like our way of this is our fucking Bonnaroo or where like this is our Coachella, whatever it was, and it was really like out of necessity because you're not getting offers to do those things, and then you combine that with now we got to play Bonnaroo for the first time, which was fucking amazing, and um, but this is ours, you know what I mean? Like this is what we this is how we want to introduce you to Arizona, and if you're coming for the first time, this is how we want to introduce you to the Maine, and you get to see where we grew up and kind of breathe it like we did, and I don't know, that's what makes it really special.
What other major festivals would you want to be part of?
Honestly, all of them. I think they're all a blast and equally terrifying,
Do you
right?
remember
Like,
Billboard Fest in New York?
yes, do you remember who we played before?
Was it a rapper?
No.
A duo?
Yes.
Who?
Chainsmokers.
Yes.
And I remember this was
Yes, yes,
right
yes.
before, they hadn't had a hit other than whatever that first like viral hit was, which was fuck, I forget. It was like their first big hit. And it was I don't even think they at the time like thought that it would go the way it did. It was almost like a parody song. It was like OMG or I forget what the fuck it is. But anyways, we play and like our crowd was like cool and like not like small but not huge. And I just remember getting off stage and their slot was right after ours and it was like this fucking massive crowd of people.
I remember the rush.
It was crazy and I was like, wow, damn. I wish we had that.
Can you remember all of those times? Like I said, Stone Pony earlier,
For sure.
Billboard. You vividly like you were present. You remember them.
I'm not as good as Pat is. Pat is like he could probably for some name literal dates.
He'll remember the time slot.
He'll remember the time slots. He'll remember the literal even sometimes day of the week. Oh no, because we played Chicago on that Friday because you want this and that and I'm not as good as or as special as that is, but I have a pretty good recollection of a lot of moments
I saw a comment. Someone said that Pat is the main.
for sure. Yeah, he's I told you, I mean, this is the dude that when I went on vacation, I was best friends with Tim, our manager,
Pat's older brother.
Pat's older brother. This was years before the Maine started, on vacation in Mission Beach in California. And Pat would be there too. And it's not like Pat and us weren't friends, but it was Pat didn't want to go to the beach. He wanted to go to the library so that he could use their Wi-Fi and their computers to look up bands and to go on Absolute Punk and to go on Pure Volume and to do all that stuff. So this is like he was destined to be what he is right now, for sure.
I have Kevin Lyman coming by next week.
Oh, awesome.
Is there anything you'd want to know from the creator of Warped Tour as a fellow fan, as someone who's performed it?
Anything specifically?
Yeah. I mean, you've done it. You've been on it. You've seen the inner workings. Was there anything that you just found fascinating or curious how they do it or why they do it?
I mean, I guess we get a little taste of it because we know how much, at least for our modest fest at home, we know how much goes into it. I would say my question would be, what was the motivation for for making Warp Tour run as long as it did? Like, what were the things that fueled his journey
Year after year?
year after year? Because that is not and was not a small operation. That was a massive operation. At least the version that we were experiencing. Obviously, it grew from modest beginnings to what it became. But that's always fascinating to me is like what for someone that isn't in a band playing the Warp Tour, like what would be the motivation? Like what would be yeah, because it was a grind, and I can only imagine behind the scenes how tough it was.
What was the toughest times behind the scenes for the Maine? Was there ever a time you almost wanted to quit? Did anybody ever quit?
I mean, I think like as a band, I think there was that moment after the second record where we were like we'd be fine if it meant we were going out on our own accord, it would be fine if they said no, we're just gonna keep you on the label and
Shelf you?
shelf you. Um, but there's been hard times. I mean, even now, it's hard to leave. Like this was hard. Like seeing my daughter crying and because she's a little more aware at 4 years old. Um, but yeah, I think it's always just trying to keep that in the back of your mind. Like you're so lucky to get to do this. Like so fortunate to get to do this for a job. Like this is a job, which is weird. And at 19, none of us ever thought that this would be our livelihood. Like the only thing I get to do is make music and play music is like that's like
Pretty
that's a
cool.
hack for sure.
When you were 2021, you wrote, "She had the most amazing smile."
hmm
How did that line come to be?
I was in college at the time. Up until I met my wife, I'd never really had like long-standing relationships with anybody. Um, as far as like a love kind of connection. So a lot of that was all the first record was just like how can I phrase it without being like stalker observational, like seeing friends and relationships. And a lot of it's like storytelling too. It's like I never I never wrote songs prior to being in the Maine. So like I just kind of tried to pull from artists like Tom Petty where it was like as truthful as possible, but also like is that real? Like is that a real story? I don't know. So lines like that, I think that sounds just like a 20-year-old kid like kind of cheeky. I don't know.
But was it ever supposed to be ass? And you were like,
No, no.
you thought that because it's really witty.
My daughter loves it too, but she doesn't know the word ass,
She
so
doesn't
she just likes
understand.
smile. Yeah.
She doesn't understand the rhyme
Yeah.
that could have been.
I mean, I just think that it's to me it just sounds like adolescence. Like it just sounds like young and I think I'm funny, but
I still
it
think it does.
yeah.
I have some fan questions.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider doing a live album with full backing orchestra and choir, similar to what other artists have done, like Metallica, Dua Lipa?
That would be amazing. We got to experience a little bit um of playing with a small, very modest orchestral pairing, but it was like I want to say it was like 4 or 5 piece. Um, and to like because that world is so foreign to us as far as sheet music and like if you told me to like show up and you're gonna like play piano or guitar just by reading and never hearing the song, I'd be like, yo, I'm out. Like, there's no chance. So to see that happen and to witness and experience it in real time was really fun for us. And I think that would be amazing.
Do you have a dream producer?
I think all the dream producers would be like I guess that's why it's a dream, right? It's either like you can't afford it or they're dead.
Yeah.
Um
Like what albums?
I mean maybe like modern producers,
Sure.
Jack Antonoff, that would be dream.
Have you ever?
Never.
Have you crossed paths?
No, we've never met. I
'Cause-
think we actually he invited us to do his Bleachers festival that he did and then it got canceled.
Oh,
So that would have been like the moment that maybe George Daniel from 1975. I'm like a massive fan of his production. There's also like there are so many names that I probably don't know, but just records that I love the way they sound. Um, like the newest Joe record is amazing.
thank you.
sp- spacing on the producer's name. Again, these are all Pat
He knows.
territory. Like he knows. Oh yeah, that guy and that guy mixed it, and that guy was the guy stocking the fridges. It's like
How was it creating and making songs from Can't Stop, Won't Stop? And what were your favorite songs from that album?
that's what's hard is like once music is out and it's not yours anymore, it's really easy to like gravitate towards the ones that might quote unquote like resonate the most with people. We'll All Be is the last song on that record, and that one was always special to me because it just reminds me of friends. Um, but they're, I
Like
don't know,
the gang choruses?
yeah, yeah. So those were a bunch of friends that came to the studio.
Any other artists?
I don't think any other artists. Maybe Halvo was in there, Eric Halverson, artist formerly known as Ted Lavender. Um, yeah, I don't know. What's weird is like when we were young a couple years ago and did Can't Stop. It was like revisiting those songs, and it was I don't know. It was special because it was like that was all us, and it was just like to me, it's like I listen to it and I'm like, it sounds just like blah, first idea kind of thing, which is so special to me because it doesn't sound like any. There's no inkling of like this brain that I have now that like has written so many songs. It was just like I've never done this before, but I'm gonna land this fucking plane. And like, there's something so funny to me about that. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Is there a doctor in here? No, but I watch ER, and it's like, so I don't know. Specifically, will I be on that record?
What was it like being featured on Demi Lovato's Revamped?
I mean, again, like, do you have the right like email? Like, are you sure you're sending this to the right group? Like, you're not looking like for the Maine state park or like for me that was fucking crazy because we were on tour and I had like it was like, do you have a way to like record like we need the vocals done by this date? And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. And
What do we do, Pat?
And then you could cut to this fucking view of me in like a La Quinta in Darien Springs, fucking New York, in the hotel room, like on a mic like this, tracking my own vocals and like comping them and like, and then being like, I hope that was good enough. And then to hear it back, it was like, damn, thank you.
If you could change any lead singles, which would it have been? Whether it's the song or the order.
Oh, that's a pretzel because it's like,
I like that phrase. That's a pretzel.
I mean, because it's so hard to know. And at this point, like even for this record, we went into it with like we are not going to talk about what song comes out first until this thing's done. Like we're not going to like play favorites at all from the start because that inevitably those songs get a little more love and a little more care or like
Production wise?
or just like in the brain, and I think like so much of it is kind of a cerebral game of like you're fighting yourself, you're fighting the voices of the like it's not good enough or this is what they're going to love, and the truth is that you have no fucking clue. The only thing that you should keep in your mind after a song is done and after a record is done is that if anybody at all ever listens to it, you should be so lucky. And that's it. And so I think we've had moments where we felt like we were making right calls, right? But then you have things happen like Another Night on Mars on American Candy. If you went to our show and heard the crowd sing that, you would think that it has 200 million plays on streaming, but it's probably at 15 million or whatever it is. But for us and for our universe, it is like it's so critical for that. And I think that if you would have said like, "Oh, should we put that song out first?" Every single person in the band from all of us, to Tim, to anybody, our friends, would have been like, oh, that's not the single. And it wasn't. And it outperformed other songs. So you really have no way of knowing what people are going to gravitate towards.
Do you think that's live performance, just the way that it sounds in a room full of people?
I mean, Loved You a Little was like a harebrained kind of like, we did the song in literally 2 days. And it just so happens to be like one of our better performing numbers wise. So it's like really fucked up the way that like analytics play a role in things, because I've seen plenty of artists with 400 million plays on a song that couldn't fill 200 seat, 200 capacity rooms. So it's like, for me, I don't want to get like
Numbers.
caught up in it. It's more about what feels right and then what people gravitate towards and trying to nurture that.
What excites you now? April 10th, Joy Next Door comes out. What are you looking forward to?
I mean, honestly, just playing. And a lot of these venues are venues that have been like, oh, if only, right? Like, oh, if only we had 50 million more plays and a blah blah blah. It's like, no, now you're fucking here. So just enjoy it. Chicago, we had done the House of Blues the last 15 years, I want to say. Like, every time on a tour, if we're playing Chicago, it'd be House of Blues. And this time, it's a place called the Salt Shed. So there's a lot of, like, firsts, again, where you're like, oh, we get to play a different room. That's amazing. Like, so I think that's what I'm looking forward to most.
This has been awesome. Thanks so much for coming by.
Dude, it's so good to see you.
You as well.
Thanks for having me.
New album, April 10th.
Joy Next Door.
Stream it everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can people buy it on themaine.com?
Should be able to. And if we have sold out of vinyl, I sincerely apologize. But you can expect at some point, because it's us and we're extra, we'll reprint for sure.
And then after this tour, what are the plans? Do you have festivals coming up?
We have Europe and the UK in the fall. And then we're going to, and then 20 years is next year. So other than
Has the group chat been going off about it?
we haven't, and that's, I mean, the
gotta get it going.
one thing that we've decided on is the fest will be in Arizona again. So again, we're trying to be extra. We got to figure out how extra we want to be in year 20.
Do you still have the Can't Stop, Won't Stop outfits?
I don't think we have the actual outfits, because we did like a silly video and I remember recreating them.
Oh, okay.
So we couldn't find them. But I actually have a bin of clothes from over the years that I've saved. It was like when I thought my thing was like, oh, I'm going to wear suits. There was something like Reservoir Dogs about it in my brain that was like, you're showing up for work, be in a suit. And so I have all my suits, my cheap ass suits, in a big bin.
Like the American Candy era?
For sure. I have all of them.
Did you guys have multiple of those? Because you're performing every single night. It's getting sweaty.
I can't remember. I know I only had one.
Did it get smelly?
Oh, God, yeah. You just hang them.
And then it just...
Well, nobody can really smell you, so.
Right. Guys, go stream the album. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.